Good morning, Jack Summit 2019. Yes. Itlanutea, Sitsi Tunchai Sulye, Wabamigwenokwe. How are you? My given name is Tunchai, and my spirit name is Wabamigwenokwe, or White Feather Woman. I am Dene and Métis from Treaty 8 in the Northwest Territories, currently residing here in Tikarano, Dish with One Spoon territory. So I grew up as an Indigenous young person in the North. And growing up, there are a lot of struggles and challenges that I experienced. Things like bullying, abusive relationships, a dysfunctional home environment. I have family members who I've lost too soon to substance use. And I've struggled with my own experiences of depression, anxiety, burnout, and suicidal ideation. And the reality is that these things that I struggled with are what a lot of Indigenous youth across the country also struggle with. The reality is that Indigenous youth in Canada actually die by suicide at a rate 7 to 11 times higher than non-Indigenous Canadians. And they experience the highest rates of addiction and violence and school dropouts. So in going through all of these challenges and experiencing these things that I did, and in seeing, all of the people around me also struggle with similar things, I never knew why. I never knew why this was. And it was only when I began to learn about the residential school that my grandmother grew up in did things begin to make a bit more sense for me. And so in reflecting on my own experiences and in learning about my family history, I came up with a way to understand all of this, using the metaphor of a house. And so if you imagine that I am a young person standing inside of a house right now, above and around me there are the walls and the roof, the foundation of the house. And now this foundation is made up of institutional racism, residential schools, the taking of Indigenous land and the removal of Indigenous people from their land, the Indian Act, the 60s scoop, and the Inuit dog slaughter. That's that foundation. And within that house, you have furniture, appliances, everyday things. You can imagine these everyday things being a loss of culture and language, lateral violence, mental health, stereotypes, trauma, abuse, bullying, isolation, and a lack of representation. When you're living in this house, everything kind of becomes your normal. This becomes your normal reality. And as a young person, you are experiencing all of this, but you also have access to a lack of support and resources, and especially culturally relevant resources. As a young person, you also tend to have limited coping skills, and you are an adolescent, you're a teen, so you're also trying to deal with the everyday things like relationships and just kind of coming into your own identity. And so with all of this, as a young person, you start to internalize all of it, and you start to really have this lack of positive identity. You may be struggling with hopelessness, you might be feeling lonely, you might be having feelings of shame, or suicidal ideation, and you're turning to things like drugs and alcohol and self-harm and suicide because you really don't know what else to do. And so growing up and kind of seeing this, and seeing that a lot of young people across the country are also experiencing this, my brother and I decided that we wanted to do something. And so what we did is we started the We Matter campaign. Now, the We Matter campaign is a national multimedia campaign that gathers video messages from Indigenous role models across the country in order to communicate to Indigenous young people that no matter how hard life gets, there is always a way forward. And so what we did is we filmed an initial 20 videos of Indigenous elders, youth, community members, and public figures, and we launched them on our social media on October 18th, 2016. And with these initial 20 videos, we reached over 1 million people on social media within the first month. And after that, we continued to grow. Right now, we're sitting at over 26,000 followers, and we have over 200 We Matter campaign video messages of hope, culture, and strength. Now, my brother and I, we didn't start We Matter because anybody told us to. We started We Matter because we were tired of the lack of resources and support that existed for Indigenous young people. And we decided that we wanted to take action and we wanted to do something about it. And we could do something about it. Now, there are 3 powerful things about We Matter. The first is affirmation and support. Youth need to know that what they are experiencing and the things that they are struggling with, through all of that, they are loved, they are seen, and they are heard. We Matter is built on this platform of love and hope. It is uplifting and supporting each other, recognizing and acknowledging our strengths and the strengths of others. And that's really powerful. The second thing is centering relatable role models. So by having role models that you can relate to, you start to feel seen and you start to feel heard. There's this power in youth seeing themselves represented. And role models can be anybody. Role models can be aunties and helpers and youth and community members and those, more external leaders. With role models, there is this power of a story. By connecting with others whose experiences and identities that you can relate to, you start to feel a little bit less alone in your experience and identity. So it's really important to begin to create these spaces where people are at the forefront and the ones of making these processes of change in order to create these spaces that exist for them, for themselves. Now, the third thing that We Matter does is we challenge the current norm. There's this norm that I see exist in a lot of communities, and this is don't talk, don't trust, and don't feel. And I don't think this is just specific to Indigenous communities. I think this is specific to mental health. So in order to really make this transformative change, we need to start talking. We need to start trusting. And we need to start feeling and changing this. And by feeling, acknowledging all of these things that we experience, this sadness, this anger, this hurt, by learning to trust others, we are showing others that it's okay to do the same. By trusting, feeling, and talking, we are letting other people know that it's okay. And it's okay to ask for help when you need it. And so there are these 3 things that We Matter attempts to do. But I think the best way for you to see what the We Matter campaign is all about is to actually see a We Matter video. So we're going to watch one right now. Now this video is by Sidoni Okina. And Sidoni is an Inuk youth from the Northern Northwest Territories. And she was 18 years old when she filmed this video. And it was one of those 20 initial videos that we had filmed back in 2016. So we can turn our attention to the screen here.
Hi, my name is Sidoni Okina, and I'm from Mulahakta, and I'm 17 years old, and I have cerebral palsy. So it's been a tough life. Like, I've been bullied a lot in life, and I am graduating this year, but I wouldn't be graduating if I didn't make some sacrifices. Like, I remember back when in grade 7, I was having a really difficult time with fitting in and getting along. I would go crying home every day until I finally got what was inside of me out. I finally decided to tell someone about how I felt, and it made me feel better. It made me motivated to finish school, and now here I am in grade 12, finishing off high school, and I feel really proud of myself. Like, there was times where they were really hard, but I kept telling myself that I can do it. And look where it got me. Right here. My message to you guys is, like, if you're having a tough time with school or anything in life, there's always hope for tomorrow. Like, don't give up. Like, even though you're giving up, like, you're almost at that point where you fell off the edge. You wouldn't fall off. You just gotta find a way to get back up there and show the world how amazing you are, because you all matter.
Amazing. That was perfect. That was good, right? That was good.
Yeah. Yeah. Amazing. Oop, I lost my slide here. There we go. So I've seen that video so many times, and no matter how much I watch it, it still has the same effect on me, because it's real, and it's all about that trusting and talking and feeling. And so by focusing on these three things, on affirmation and support, in centering relatable role models, and in challenging current norms, we can build a new house that exists not just for Indigenous youth, but for everybody. And when we choose to construct this new house, we see things like resilience and pride and positivity and love and truthfulness and strength, culture and language, hope, representation, unity, confidence, coping, and opportunity. We together can build new houses that look like this. We can remind youth everywhere that their experiences matter, that their stories matter, and that they matter. So the last thing that I want to leave you with today is to know your power and know that the revolution of hope is possible, because we are all stronger together. Now, there's one more video that I'm going to leave you with, and this is from a high school in L'Orange, Saskatchewan.
Hi, my name is DeAndre Nadamagan, and I'm at Senator Miles Benn School in L'Orange. And L'Orange has gone through a very hard time. And this message is for the people that have gone through a very hard time, is to be happy and smile, because life is amazing.
You are amazing! You are amazing! You are amazing!
The revolution of hope is now. You all are amazing. Marcy Cho, thank you so much.